Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo 7. We're back with the latest 2 million credit guide to help you earn these credits as quickly and as easily as possible. We're at Suzuka in Group 2. I'm using the NSX. We're on racing medium tyres. Obviously default setup, you can't change the setup, no brake bias change. And yeah, it's quite an enjoyable drive. I have to say this car is much better than I expected because the GTR didn't have the best force feedback when I tried that at Fuji a while back. But this NSX feels pretty similar in terms of force feedback to before the update, and it actually feels nicer to drive now since the new physics. So definitely give this a go. Do remember, if you do enjoy this video, if it helps you out, hit that like button, share the video wherever you want, and subscribe to the channel. It all helps me out massively. But let's get into this. To enter this time trial, you're going to go into sport mode, click on that sport mode icon, and then from there you'll be greeted with the online time trial section. From here you're going to click onto the online time trial section, go over to the right hand side. You'll have two separate time trials. You'll have the Bathurst time trial, which I've got a guide for on the channel, and the Suzuka one, which obviously we're doing now. Now I predict the gold is going to go under a 1 minute 50.5 because it'll obviously go faster by the end of the 2 weeks. So that means you're probably going to need a 52.5 for silver and probably into the 57s for the bronze. Now if you do want to load my Ghost up, we're into the top 10, so you can load it up from the main menu when you're in the actual time trial section. Just search for my name and you can chase my Ghost. Now I didn't do too long. You might have seen there I only did like 40 odd miles on this time trial because I wanted to get this guide out as early as possible to help you lot out. So definitely a lot more potential in it, but let's go through it and try and help you get them 2 million credits as quickly and as easy as possible. So make sure you're revving this car out. Going into turn 1, you're going to brake very late into this corner in Group 2, so you can go past the 50 board, and then you can actually wait until you can almost see the curb. You're right onto the curb on the right hand side before you put the braking inputs in. So you can see we're going to try and get as close with our right hand side to the curb as possible, but you can see there onto the brakes just before the start of the curb on the right there. And now we're going to trail brake it. Just try and get the car rotated. Now at this point here I use second gear to try and rotate it a little bit more. Does mean the car slides a bit. Back up to third gear straight away. Our lowest speed 76 miles per hour there, and then back onto that throttle. You can see probably lost a little bit there. Could have been a little bit smoother on the exit, but now it's all about carrying the speed through these really fast corners. So what you're going to do here is you're going to see I'm going to give it a little lift off the throttle to help rotate the car. Now that puts the weight onto the front of the car, and that'll help you carry a little bit more speed through this section. You want to get that left hand tire right up to the curb as you're going through here. So left hand tire up on the curb, and then again a little dab of the brakes before you're going into this next right hand corner. That's again to put the weight back onto the front of the car, which will give you more grip on the front to rotate it into this right hand corner. So downshift to third gear, then back onto the throttle as you're on the curb there, and you can see our lowest speed there, 102 miles per hour, 164 kilometers an hour. Now we're going to try and rotate it back into this left hand corner, so you can see swinging it in now. And again, your left hand tire wants to get right up onto the curb and almost onto the green AstroTurf, and you can see there onto the brakes. Just again, it's not aggressive, it's just a tap of the brakes just to try and get this car rotated into this corner and put a bit of weight onto that front. Again, same thing here, onto the brakes just at the start of the curb on the right hand side. Just a little bit of trail braking going on here just to help the rotation, and then aggressively on the throttle here. You can see our lowest speed 84, but we're already on the throttle. And what you're going to do here is stay on that throttle. You do not want to lift. You're going to swing the car to the right and then try and get it right into this apex aggressively, because you're not going to lift off the throttle at all at this point. It's completely flat out. So you can see upshift to fourth gear just on the apex, and then keep that throttle all the way on the exit. Do not lift. And then into these next two left hand corners. You can see we're going to brake just short of the 50 board there, braking just short of that. Right hand tire now is going to get right up onto the curb as we go over the first part of the corner. You can see there, right hand tire up onto the curb, and then our lowest speed 121, where the car just gets a little bit unsettled as it lands, and then back onto accelerator. And as soon as your car is in a straight line, you're back on the brakes to slow it down for the second part of this right hand corner. Now again, you're going to go down to second gear, but back up to third gear before you put the power down and get it up onto that curb. And you can see there, lowest speed 78 miles per hour, 125 kilometers now, and use third gear on the exit. You can see I gave it a little lift there, probably hesitated because I felt the rear going, so a little bit of loss of time on the exit. And now into the slow hairpin corner. Again, as soon as your car is straightened up just past the exit of the curb there on the right hand side, you're onto the brakes, braking in a straight line. Now I take a slightly later turning point to the Ghost that I'm chasing because I want to try and get a better exit. So you can see slightly later, rotating it in with a bit of trail braking. Our lowest speed there, 43 miles per hour, 69 kilometers an hour, and then back up to second. You can see we're in second gear here, and we're going quite aggressively on the throttle, and we're going to try and accelerate out as aggressively as we can there, all the way up this hill now into Spoon Corner. So keep your line as close to the right hand side as possible all the way up this hill. It will actually gain you a fraction of time, so keep it to the right, and then we're going to brake just at that point there. You can see just on this little bit of grey tarmac at the end of that. So as we play it forward there, you can see just onto the brakes just before the end of it, and now we're going to start slowing the car down. 155 miles per hour at the braking point. We're going to stay in fourth gear here, but we're going to go down to third gear as we start rotating it in. So just as the left-hand tyre hits the curb, down to third gear, and now you can see our lowest speed there, 102 miles per hour, because we're going to get back onto the throttle for the second exit of Spoon. So you can see there a little dab of the brakes there as we straighten the car up at 108 miles per hour, and that's a tiny little bit of trail braking gone in there just to help rotate it, put that weight onto the front of the car, and that'll enable you to take more speed out the exit of Spoon Corner and all the way through 130R. 130R is a no corner in this car. It's completely flat out. You do not need to lift. You don't even need to worry about it. It's just keep the car as smooth a line as possible. Try and keep it to the left a little bit. So you can see I keep it to the left there. Don't run too far wide. And now you're into the next braking zone, the final braking zone. The 100 board there, braking in between the 150 and the 100. Now you'll see I really attack this. I brake quite late here, but then I really attack the apex. You can see I brake very late but turn in very early, and you can see we actually gain on the Ghost quite considerably here. So because I'm turning in, you can see there I've took a lot of speed in, but we've managed to get it up onto the apex, and our lowest speed here, 55 miles per hour, and then we're going to get back onto the throttle briefly before a little dab of the brakes again just to help rotate the car for the final part of the chicane, and then back onto the throttle as soon as you're on that curb. You can see the throttle going down, accelerating all the way to the finishing line, and I think we actually did that last sector a fraction quicker than the Ghost in front of us. Lost a little bit on the exit, but overall pretty solid lap. 1 minute 48.1. Definitely 47's possible if we were to spend a bit more time, but you can see you know, we only did 40 odd miles in the time trial, so I'm sure a lot of you will be putting a bit more time than that in to improve your lap to, you know, whatever you want to push it to. But let's have a watch of that lap from the chase camera again with kilometers now. Again, you can see that little drift there, lost a little bit of traction, possibly half a tenth gone there, maybe a tenth. And then through here, it's all about rotating, getting that weight to the front of the car so that you can accelerate through these corners and using some of the curb. Again, try and hog this curb on the right side. It's really important to try and keep as close to that curb as possible, and then really attack this left-hand corner flat out, no lifting. You can see I didn't lift there, very close to running wide, but did not lift. And then into these two right-hand corners just before the 50 board. Let that car attack the curb. And then this corner, it's all about second to third gear. Use it for rotation. Just be careful on the exit you don't lose the traction on the rear. And then into the slow hairpin. Braking as soon as that car's in a straight line. Onto the brakes, down to first gear, let it rotate. Then back up to second gear for that acceleration phase. All the way up to Spoon Corner. And again, Spoon Corner, really important corner to get the exit onto the straight done well, because that's where you're going to gain some time. If you mess that corner up, you lose all the way through to 130R and into the final braking zone. So here, little downshift a second, then back up to third gear, let that car rotate, keep that throttle down, use some of the curb on the exit. Quite a stable car. It's absolutely lovely to drive, this Group 2 NSX now on the latest update with the new physics and whatever they've done with the setups. It's really enjoyable. So again here, completely flat out, do not lift at all there, just hug a line to the curb and then into the braking zone, braking in between the 150 and 100. You can see that aggressive line that I took through there, and it really worked. And we took a lot of curb off on the second part. Just be careful you don't take too much off though, because it can invalidate your lap. But hopefully this lap will help you get them credits, and hopefully you'll get the 2 million. If not 1 million, let me know in the comment section if it's helped you. I do enjoy reading them comments, and I'll see you for more videos in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.